everybody? Bobby Fire, Cheat Tabor. We're going to be talking through this Tuesday Cup quarterfinal games. So there's a little more extra incentive, and I'm liking that the Sims and the everything are giving me some low owned plays, and I'm using your projections today. I put a little of my own stuff on that I like out there, but pretty curious overall thoughts here, and let's get into it.
I'm just building it right now. I just saw a note that Jonathan Isaac was out.
Yeah, I've got to adjust to that one too. I haven't rerun since he was out because it was only 4 minutes ago. So that's it's probably going to make Mo Wagner, Batatze, Wendell Carter even look better than they already did.
And you can't have it completely clean. You know what I mean? Like you just
And it was interesting because he was actually getting like lower ownership and then made sense to me. And I think that there was people speculating that he was going to be out more than I was tonight. So I think that's. I mean, look, this Magic team they're missing a lot of stuff tonight. That's all I can say. It's like it's going to be really hard to play with less than 3 Magic. I feel like.
So I guess Cole Anthony, Goga, and Suggs, right? Those are the 3 main ones, right?
I think so, but I think you could make a case that Carter might be in this situation more viable than usual. I think you could still make a good case for De Silva. He's 3,800 and he's going to play minutes. We just don't know which minutes they are. It's really which minutes. He's the one who's most likely to get his minutes taken by Cole Anthony because Mo Wagner will fill in for Carter and Batatze. So and Mo Wagner's also in play, but I think you're sort of trying to decide between those 7. Anthony Black is not showing up as much because he's not like a great fantasy producer, even though he's a good basketball player.
Okay.
But he's worth it probably to take some shots on too. I'm curious to see how that things rerun with that news. So I'm going to actually see SaberSim still doesn't have anything on it, but it's probably going to take like an extra 10 or 15 minutes. I did post some bets today. We're trying to work on a new betting section for the site, and it's going to take a little bit, but we're getting it going. But my bets today were I like Milwaukee to cover, which the spread has already increased since where I was earlier when I liked it, and I like the Thunder to cover here against Dallas.
Hey, if we're gonna do sports betting stuff, you should reach out to your friend.
Matt.
No. The I don't want to say his name in case he doesn't want to be whatever.
Oh.
The guy who drinks a lot.
Who? I'm curious. I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about.
You used to do shows with him, maybe.
He doesn't. Eric?
No.
Oh my God! How do I not know who I used to do shows with who drinks a lot?
I think he drinks a lot. I don't know.
I felt like you would have. I felt like that should narrow it down. I don't know. I got to think about.
You did a show with him on Mondays.
With Grant.
Yeah.
I'll reach out. I can reach out to him. It's a long story there.
Okay.
Not like bad or anything. Just Anyway, I'll tell you about it sometime.
Okay.
But yeah, he's done incredibly well. I'm really impressed by what he turned his career into. Like he really has become like the prop guy.
Oh really? Yeah, I figured. I mean,
he does really well with it. He was always really good at it. I mean, he's an accounting background. He's just very analytical about numbers and finding edges. His old strategy of how to play DFS even was largely due to, finding overlay on every different weird site and everything like that. And he just was always profitable. He's a really, really smart, sharp guy.
So I got to wait for this Isaac news, huh? Is that the story? Or with the
update? Yeah. I think it's going to just highlight those guys, but I think you're looking at 2 or 3 Magic, 2 minimum. I would say, even if they get smoked, I really think there's no way like 2 of them don't get there. And I try to think like is there a way they get beaten so badly like Jet Howard comes into play? It's possible.
Is he out?
Jet Howard?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He just doesn't play that much.
Okay.
I've got him in right now, but
I saw some note as I launched SaberSim saying somebody in your lineup does. Oh, it's because I have 0 projection on him. Okay, that's what.
Yeah, I gotcha. They bumped up a little bit. There we go. Let's see what it's at. Not much. And the thing that's weird about this is not like these guys outside of even Cole Anthony. It's not like his projection is like must play status projection, but we just, we're small slate. You're short of value. There's 4 great spend ups tonight. I think that I'm just going to have to eat that one. Do you think there's any way you end up lower than like 75% on Anthony? I can't imagine.
No, I don't think so.
So that's sort of the main one for me on this slate. And other than that, I actually really like Shea and Luka just playing the two of them tonight. I like them better than I like Giannis. I have more Giannis in terms of my overall, but I hand build a couple lineups, and Giannis is not in those ones. It's not I don't like Giannis either. It's just if you give me Giannis and Luka at the same price, in general, I'm going to pick Luka. I think that there's a good reason for it. Luka's basically averaging 68, 69 since he's come back from not being in great condition early in the year. So and this is a revenge matchup here for the Thunder. They lost in that 7th game in a series they probably should have won against Dallas last year that would have taken them probably to the finals. And I think Shea has a monster game tonight. I really do. I don't see how, I don't even know who they're going to put on him. They don't have a guy who can guard him. Luka, Kyrie, Clay. Clay can't move the same way he used to. So you're probably going to see Najee Marshall off the bench getting minutes, and Quentin Grimes getting all the extra minutes against him.
Yeah. So it looks like they made some change. Oh yeah. Jet Howard with the 12 points, huh?
Yeah. It should be in the pool. It should be in the guys to at least okay, it's probably not right, but there's a path,
Okay.
So I think there is for him. I'm going to make sure I have
You doing anything funny because the 2-game slate with salary or anything, or?
No, I don't think I found it for one thing, you have this, I don't know how real this projection on Gafford's exposure is, but getting all kinds of Gafford.
I was earlier, and now I have to see if I'm still doing it.
Yeah, and it feels a little thin, but I totally get it. I actually had to manually lower it because they were trying to give me 90+%, and I still got 65% of it. So you have some plays that are just not going to be thought about that much. If that's really going to be the ownership on him, I like that. But I mean, just matchup wise, I like Lively a lot better than I like him straight up. If you factor in ownership, it's hard for me not to go to Gafford. And I love PJ. I wish PJ wasn't getting some love. I really like this matchup for PJ. I mentioned he had a great series against them last year. My one hot take day for PJ Tucker was the day he was 0.5% owned or whatever.
PJ Tucker.
I'm sorry, PJ Washington. Okay. When he put up 55 against this team.
Yeah.
This is the team that you want to play him against. And I'm not saying it's going to work out every time. He's not always going to make, whatever. I don't know how many threes he ended up making in that game. But it is a good matchup for him, and he's definitely, he's one of the guys who I think you can get a low ownership that you can take a stand on. What about the Thunder guys? I'm curious about how those guys project for you, because there's a lot of cheap Thunder, which there always are. And on big slates, we kind of just say, okay, well, we don't need to play this stuff exactly. But it's a smaller slate. Caruso should play a bunch of minutes. He's going to be really popular. You've got Isaiah Joe not getting now looking like he's going to be a little more popular than he was early in the day. Casey Wallace, and I guess for my take on those three, I think that it's probably the right thing to do to be close with all three instead of just going all Caruso. That would be my take.
Yeah, I don't think there's any real reason. I mean, fundamentally, to go like 100% Caruso or anything like that.
Yeah. I don't think that you and I think that the one that's not going to show up, and let me just make sure that it's still not happening. No, he is showing up now. Aaron Wiggins, who was looking like he was going to be low owned earlier for some reason, is now no longer low owned. So that was my clever play. That's no longer clever.
Oh, it's still clever. Andrew Wiggins, right? Or Aaron Wiggins?
Aaron Wiggins. The other guy who no one seems to be playing today, and maybe you could get different with, I was thinking of these mid-range guys.
Is Kyrie?
Well, Kyrie is one, but I think he's going to get some ownership.
Okay.
I'm just double checking where he's at. I was trying to tempt myself into Brook Lopez at low ownership. So you have all these the same price range. All he has to do is win that price range, or you play him with one of those guys who does win it, whether it's the Carter, Lively, Mo Wagner, all those things. Why can't Brook Lopez have a decent game here? The guys who are going to be guarding him, Wagner will come out on him, Carter will come out on him, but Batatse won't. So I'm kind of curious how that goes. So he was another potentially creative play. But yeah, I always try to get different on these things, and it's a weird slate when you have everybody playing, seemingly paying for these guys at the top, but we don't have anybody really projecting above. Cole Anthony's the only guy projecting above 6x,
Right.
And nobody else is everybody else is barely above 5. So yeah, it's interesting. And I'm going to rerun this thing afterwards. What's up, MJ? Good to see you, man. Guys, any questions or thoughts, please pop them on in. I think this is a fun little – I'm excited about the future of what they're trying to do here, even though I don't think they're going to have it perfected for a while. But I like this, making early season games matter, especially for these up-and-coming teams.
Yeah, it makes sense to me.
Yeah. And I would say that the Thunder would be my favorite to win the Cup. I don't think that's anything bold, but that's what I think will happen.
Who is?
I think the Thunder will. Just because the motivation after last year, they're the team on the way up. They've been one of the best 3 teams in basketball this season. So I think they just it sets up well for them. They've got all the young guys. They've got I think this is a good spot for them to sort of like, okay, this is the first step in their transforming into an NBA. I don't even want to say contender because they already are, but like a legit like NBA Finals team.
Same questions before. Are you leaving anybody specifically in the late game or?
Well, the only questionable really is PJ Washington, and my guess is just that he's going to play. It's his knee. He played through it last time. It would be very surprising to me if he was out, but I have enough guys in that game where I can probably mix and match. So I'm not going out of my way to do it. I do like the game better. I'm a little worried about this Orlando-Milwaukee. This spread feels like it could have been like 15, and I wouldn't have thought twice about it. Just because you're playing there in Milwaukee, it's the Magic. They don't have anybody left. You're counting on like a crazy game from Cole Anthony. Like that's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, and I don't. Again, I'm not convinced that it plays out the same way. I don't know.
No, that's fine, but nobody else is either. Vegas isn't either.
Right.
7-point spread is not that big. This game, if it was last year, like pretty much any time, even with the Magic being good, would have been like 10 plus. But you take out. I just imagine. I tell myself, like, what if Paolo and Franz were healthy and they were playing this game? The Magic the Bucks would probably be 5-point favorites or so, or maybe 4-point favorites, somewhere in that range. And if you told me on that day that then you found out they were both out, I think the spread would go to like 12 or 13, 14. I really do. So I'm not like overly playing that angle, but I am playing a little more that angle because I just don't know how exactly how they're going to score. Cole Anthony's projection just came down quite a bit. I don't know why. I think it's because their starting lineup came out, but that seems silly to me.
It came down?
Their starting lineup must have come out because, it's Suggs, Caldwell Pope, Silva, Carter, Batatse. It was exactly what you'd expect.
But we knew that, right? I mean,
nothing's different. But for some reason, I just saw that Saberson dropped his projection down to he's got a 5.5x projection instead of a 6.5, which I think is actually probably a better guess because it doesn't have to be him. I'm telling you, like, it's really up in the air what's going to happen with him, and he is an incredibly streaky, shooting dependent player. But I don't know. I feel more nervous about not having him than having him. So let's see what else happened with the projections update here. Yes, nobody really jumped that much. The ownership jumped, but not the actual players themselves. I think this Jet Howard thing makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah,
I'm starting to talk myself into it. Yeah, it's an extra body out with who played the last game, right? No, he didn't. He didn't play the last game. But Jet Howard in the last game, he only played 14 minutes, but he had 14 fantasy points in. That might be good enough at 3,400 today. Outside, if you're playing him like with Caruso, like I wouldn't try and play him over Caruso, but I would play him in the same lineups. Yeah, I'm curious to see rerunning it now, what it's going to give me. And how much did I have of Isaac before in FanDuel? Let's see that I did. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna rerun this.
Yeah, so I just for fun, I left 200 on the table.
I think it makes sense, man.
Just 200. I mean, whatever. You know what I mean? Like I'm not.
Yeah. I mean, any little extra thing to do to get different, I think makes sense on these kind of slates. Who are some other plays that I thought were interesting? Maybe reaches. He doesn't play that many minutes, and it's not like he's like high usage. But like, you could talk me into Kenrich Williams at low ownership as a very very bold play. AJ Green.
AJ Green, that's a new one
for the Bucks.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing the minutes. He's played over 20 minutes in I think like 14 straight games. It's just not incredible results, but he's 3,200. I think it's worth it. All right, let's see.
All right, so I'm gonna tell you my exposures in a second. Oh, there's an AJ. Oh, look at this! I'm getting a couple of these AJ Green guys.
Yeah, I like it.
So what I did was what is this one here? So I left 200 on the table, and I tried to do the Saber Sim thing with the no dupes. There weren't that many to carve out. Just like a little, just doing a little something different. I reduced ownership like a little bit with Geomean stuff, and this is what I ended up with just for fun. Okay, view exposure, and this could change with the late swap, whatever. But I am currently my top owned guy is only 61%, which is something.
Oh, interesting.
And that is Shea.
Okay.
Then 50% Caruso, and there it is, 50% Lou Dort.
Okay.
And then 50% Hartenstein, and then Lively, then De Silva. Okay, so I only have 47% Cole Anthony. All right.
Okay.
That's something. We'll see how it plays.
Yeah.
And the good thing is, and we started off, and if I get a really big first game somehow, I could put that salary back if I need to. You know what I mean? If I can later, we'll see.
Absolutely. Yeah, I like that. It's starting to make more sense to me. I think it's going to take me a while, but it's been a while now. I'm starting to get better at the thing. I noticed I have a lot more contending lineups than I did from using this stuff. I think it's starting to work a little bit better, but I'm still mixing with how I want to put my own imprint on the slate sometimes.
Right. No, absolutely.
Yeah, Cole Anthony's lowered for me a little bit as well. Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, on FanDuel, I'm curious what are your.
I'm doing it right now. Actually, I'm literally doing it right now. Isaac is out, so I have to change the Orlando thing. Orlando. That's Wagner. I guess that's it over there. You got to change the ownership in Orlando's got to change a little bit, right?
Hey, Brandon. Brandon's asking his favorite plays. It's a little hard whenever I always never know how to answer the favorite plays question, because especially in basketball, because like the favorite plays are going to be the chalky plays. That's going to be my highest owned guys. The Cole Anthony's, let me just grab my sheet. I'll say my highest owned guys at the moment. I do think Anthony is going to end up as my highest owned. Oh my God. Well, this has got Luka at 96 and Shea at 92. Okay. Let's see if that continues. But no, I think Cole Anthony, Shea will be my two highest owned players. I think I'm going to be like over on Batatse. I'm getting all kinds of Clay at the moment. I don't love that. Yeah, I'm just rerunning it now. So, okay, yeah. So I've got Shea and Cole Anthony as my two highest owned players on DraftKings, followed by Luka, Hartenstein, De Silva, and then Aaron Wiggins at 37%. Oof, that's a lot.
How long do you think De Silva's going to be?
Probably like in the mid 30s, maybe 40 would be my just a guess. But again, I'm going to go back to that. My favorite get different play is the PJ Washington.
Yeah, sure.
I think it makes sense, and sadly, it's not as different as it was going to be. It looked like it was going to be this morning. Yeah, it is. It did drop all the numbers are dropping on Cole Anthony a little bit. I don't know why. Did they expect him to start him all of a sudden? That wasn't going to happen. The thoughts on KCP are the same always. He's probably the worst person you could play, but you're still going to end up with some of them. That's just the fact. Like, we know what he is. At this point of his career, he's not a guy who's going to go out there and take 20 shots. He scored 50 points in a game once in his career, but it was way early in his career.
Did he really?
Yeah. But there's just no usage whatsoever. So KCP is like he's like the least who benefits from all this. Now, could he have a game just by being on the court? Sure. But he's the one I like the least of all the other value on the Orlando side. I don't think, and as MC is saying, I don't think it has anything to do with Clay stepping up or anything like that. It's just he's, the fourth highest usage player on his team. Really hasn't given us any reason to play him anytime recently. But, he was coming back from the injury. Yeah, maybe. I mean, bad matchup and all that, but it's totally possible. I don't like that I'm getting as much of him as I was. I just don't think it makes sense to me. I like this. I like getting the Mo Wagner. I like getting the Bobby Portises. I like those kind of, middling plays to get different. I think I just like them a little better than I do the Clay idea. If Clay was going to be low owned, I'd be all over it, but he's going to be 30% owned. It's not like we're talking about low owned play, really. Isaac ruled out. Okay, that's all we've got. Where did you end up on? Here's a guy who I was considering as a play earlier, and I didn't get as much of him as I kind of thought it. Is there a chance that Chris Middleton might not be the worst play?
I didn't even know he still plays.
Yeah, he's come back. He's been out, and he's coming back from a long injury. So he's only played 23 and 20 minutes the first two games, and projected today to play 22. I think there might be some upside on that. I don't know.
22 minutes is. Oh, you think he'll do more than that?
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to see his price so cheap. So that's what. But I guess if you're only playing 22 minutes, 5,900 is not that cheap, But I think he's interesting, like an interesting get different play. I don't like him quite as much as I do like the PJ Washington and the other guys with real ceilings. All right. So yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, so Shea, Cole Anthony, now Caruso is sneaking in there, but that's not gonna matter to me, that Caruso play, because that's gonna change when I late swap later, and I'll make sure to try and get similar amounts of the Caruso, the Cason Wallace, the Aaron Wiggins, the Isaiah Joes, and they're basically interchangeable prices and stuff. So that's the way I'm gonna treat that one. I don't like how much Giannis I'm getting to. It's not that I don't like Giannis. I just much prefer the Luka play. So I'm gonna make sure to have less Giannis than Luka. Okay, there, I did it.
What you end up doing?
I just got to 50% Luka, like 36% Giannis, which I'm fine with. For a while today, it was just giving me all the Lillard. I tried playing with it, and it was all over that Lillard. You know who I ended up with 22% of?
Who?
Jed Howard.
There it is.
Yeah, and his actual ownership projections come up quite a bit.
You think that's going to be the hipster play, though?
Maybe. Could be. And then the ultra pivot would be Caleb Houston. Why doesn't Caleb Houston look like almost as good a play?
Caleb Houston.
I mean, they're missing everybody, He played 18 minutes in the last game. Yeah, I think he's going to play some minutes. we've got him at, what do they have him at here? 16 minutes. Wow, even at 16 minutes, he still doesn't look that good. That's pretty bad. It's a bad sign. All right, here we go. Let's get a little bit. No, rebuild. I would just be careful though, because the build settings like drop down. Just to tell everybody, like one thing that I would do is they drop down to like 42,000 or 43,000. I think it was the default today to 50. I don't think you want to be leaving $7,000 on the table in any situation.
7,000.
Well, that was the spread. That was the default button. You know.
Oh.
Usually it's 48 to 50 in basketball.
Okay.
But it was 40. I think it was 44 or 43. I
don't think you're going to get to it anyway. I don't think it's a big deal.
I don't think it'll be a big deal. But if you make some of your own personal judgments and you want to,
that's true. That's a problem. Right.
Leave like 5,000 on the table. That's another thing that I noticed. So yeah, for those of you who do use the builder, but you want to put your own, your own angle on using min-max exposures on players, just make sure that you are in basketball filling out the salary to almost the max. Like 49 to 50 would be the minimum. I think you'd want to go with that. Otherwise, you're going to end up leaving a ton of money on the table. There was, when I was trying to play with it at first, at the beginning of the season, it was like, I would play Isaiah Joe instead of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. You know what I mean? Like I was like, okay, this is crazy. We can't do this. Okay, and any other questions or thoughts? Oh, wow. Yeah, Luka, this feels crazy to me. So I still can't figure out why Luka would be similarly owned to Giannis. He's projected almost 5 points higher than Giannis, basically anywhere you look.
Is it position somehow? I have no idea.
It is the position because Shai is going to be so popular, but it just feels.
You feel you're supposed to start with the Luka.
Yeah,
you're starting with the Shai.
Or no, I think Luka and Shai, and then you find it, and then you're using up 3 guard spots because then you're using, in my opinion, mostly you're using Cole Anthony. I think that's sort of your basic core build.
Right.
And if you do anything different, like I do think that these projections, the ownership on Kyrie and Lillard are a little. I think that they're not going to be as popular as they're being projected to be. Do you guys have strong plays for FanDuel GPP? Yeah, I'll mention my FanDuel thing. Again, you can always do the Gafford thing. That's going to be low owned today. I don't mind that idea as a low owned thing. I don't think you have to like lock it in or anything like that. But I think Gafford's a low owned play. PJ Washington's going to be more owned over there, but I really like PJ Washington, as I keep mentioning. He's probably my boldest get crazy. Well, not get crazy, but get different kind of play. Who else on FanDuel? Suggs looks better on FanDuel than DraftKings because just the way the prices work out. Jalen Williams looks better on FanDuel than DraftKings to me. Damian Lillard, although that's one that I'll say I don't entirely agree with. Like I think that he looks better because, but it always looks better because his price is cheaper. But the reason his price is cheaper is because his game style doesn't match up. You don't get the 3-point bonuses over there. We do get the double doubles and things like that now, but the turnovers, that's another big thing that hurts him. So that's it. Okay, and I'm defaulting. Let's do this with the average. Okay, yeah. So this is the first day that I'm trying. It's the $5 tournament. I'm playing 75 entries on FanDuel. That's all I'm playing on FanDuel.
Nice.
I'm trying to do the average thing between all of the projections, and I know I'll update it, but I think it's just the first time I've tried it. I feel okay trying it at a $5 tournament.
Okay.
And one thing it does that it accomplishes for you that I like about this is that it's just immediately different because there's nobody else. I mean, only members of our site can do it. So
that's true.
You're already doing something unique, and that's just an important reminder to for anybody who thinks, isn't everybody from SaberSim getting this? No, that's one way you can get different is by averaging it out, or averaging it out and then playing Goldie's exposure in the or your exposures in the ownership, something like that. Just little.
All right, so I'll give you the last. What is this guy do want? Hold on. So my last exposures before, so I'll probably late swap later, but I just changed a run Anybody cares? DraftKings, 53% Shea, 52% Hartenstein, 46% Suggs. Wow, where's Cole Anthony? Oh my God, I have like only 30% Cole Anthony, so that's going to be
Not giving me much either.
my cross to bear, I guess. Suggs, Caruso, Giannis, I'm getting a bunch of. Hey, I am getting 2% Middleton. There you go.
Hey, there's something. Yeah.
And I'm like market weight on Luka, 34 of him.
If Middleton is projected, Saberson saying he's going to be 32% owned. I'm not buying that.
No chance.
I'm not buying that on That's on FanDuel, but I'm still not buying it. I get that he fits the position, but I just think I just don't see it.
All right, I'm going to get going. Dinner awaits.
Okay.
I will catch up to you later.
Sounds good. Have a good night, man. Good luck. All right, guys, I'm going to stick around just for a minute. I'm just going to go through just where I'm at right now because I figure I may as well. And Bucks starting Lillard, Jackson, Prince, Lopez, Giannis. Okay, so nothing's different there. My guess is, even though it shouldn't, because we should have assumed that might lower Chris Middleton's projection a little bit, because I've heard speculation that he might start, but I never thought he was. I just think that the projections don't necessarily know what to do in those situations. So this is where I'm at right now in terms of my ownership. You can see that the Aaron Wiggins it's trying to give me to take a stand on one of these, and I think that's a very reasonable one. This is on FanDuel. Daniel Gafford, you can see I'm well above, and actually I want to make sure I'm stay there no matter what I rerun, so I'm going to leave 15 in there. And on DraftKings, let me run the sim before I do it, because I already did a bunch of my little tweaks. In DraftKings, that's sort of where I'm at. I'm going to go to do this too. We're going to go 3 and uniques. Yeah, and I think that works out this way. The only thing is I want more than that's about right for the Gafford, but I want to make sure I stick with it no matter what. And then, as I mentioned, I'm forcing in PJ Washington at least 22%. I'd like to get to even more, possibly. I'm just going to wait to see how the Sims like it in a little bit. Anyway, we appreciate you guys. I'm just running my last thing here. Let's see if it's done. I think it is done. And it's a little more spread out, as you can see. And there it is. Gafford just popped all the way back in. So I'm not going to probably end up with 48% of him, but I do like him as a get different play today. And that's what you're looking for. Him, PJ Washington. I like this Wagner as a get different play. I like Portis, although it's not getting that different, but I like the Wagner. I like the Portis. I think the Jet Howard is one I'm definitely selling myself on, and I effectively did it because I've got a decent amount of them. AJ Green's another one I forced a little bit in, and now he's getting a little more love than he was before. You can see the guys I'm underweight on as well, which is probably the more important. The guys that you're underweight, and slightly under in most of these cases. And obviously it depends on what tournament you're playing and all that stuff, but this is sort of where I'm at right now. And I would like to get to a little more. I think I'm going to go a little harder because I'm not playing a ton of lineups on DraftKings on PJ Washington. I like that idea, even though, as you can see, it's not, the Sims don't love what I'm doing, but that's okay. I've been doing this stuff well enough without that. So, all right. I think I am now going to get out of here. Any other things I will update in the Discord. And good luck to everyone tonight. Enjoy the NBA Cup. We'll be back with it at it tomorrow.